Hey everyone, welcome back to High Tea Hoops. This is Brian Bosche at the Duke of Hoops, and I am joined by Skylar, the Duchess. What's up, Skylar?
Hello, it's great to be back. Thanks for holding it down while I was taking care of some stuff, Brian. I'm so excited to be here.
So excited to have you back, and we have a very special guest today, Will Saunders. What's up, Will? How you doing?
What's up, guys? Yeah, doing pretty well. Just come back from training, just hanging out. So yeah.
Nice. Thank you so much for coming on. So we're gonna start off with some easy questions. Actually, this is like an enormous question, Skylar, that we asked first. It's like, what is your entire childhood like playing basketball in the
Right
UK?
out of the gate, hit them with the hard ones.
But let's just get a sense of like, I just moved to the UK. I've met a lot of guys in this British basketball community, heard a lot of crazy stories about EABL and NBL D1s and, some crazy tournament stories. But what was it like growing up here? When did you start playing? Just give us a sense of kind of how you got into the sport a little bit.
Well, as like everyone else in England, I grew up with football first, football and cricket with my neighbours. And then it turned into basketball, I think around age, what was it, 13 maybe?
Okay.
14.
Is that when you started, or are you just like, that's when you started? Oh,
like
everyone's
maybe
so late in the UK.
In school, you got a hoop there, you got, PE, so you have a bit of, try different sports. And I kind of took it serious, I think 13, 14, because my mum was getting mad. I kept bringing in muddy boots. And I swear to God, that was one of the reasons. And then I just ended up switching, and just haven't looked back since.
That is one thing. It has been a pouring rain all summer in London. And so I'm taking the buses to, Tottenham to Enfield to play in these runs. And everyone is outside playing on pitches, playing football. I'm like, you guys are crazy. I'm going to a warm gym inside. Why isn't basketball more popular here? But what kind of groups did you join? Did you join like a development team, EABL program? Like, how did you actually start training more seriously?
It started with, I can't even remember now. Started with a team I think called Wolverhampton Forest Spitfires. It was a little local league team. All the guys I knew in my area, so it was fun. There was all my friends, and then I ended up playing for I played for Humphrey Long at East London Royals, rest in peace, and that kind of opened my eyes to the talent in London and how some of these guys were windmilling and double pumping, and I'm still working on I was scared to shoot for free. I was putting my foot in the line because I wasn't strong enough to shoot a free yet. So it really put me like, okay, this is where I need to be. And then after that, I ended up playing, who is it? Wolverhampton Forest Spartans in Leighton. And then it's a weird one because at that time, people were playing for their clubs, but then they'd play for their schools as well. So you're basically competing in two leagues. And the school ended up playing with Hackney College. We was in a men's league, a local league, a schools league, and then I'm playing for my club team. So it's just games every other day. And that's what I wanted. So yeah, those were the entries for me into basketball, and a lot of great coaches, a lot of great people. And it was more like the camaraderie, a lot of my mates were doing it, and I just kept doing it. And school as well. But when I was in secondary school, a lot of my guys started shifting towards basketball because we weren't trying to be like the lads and play football. So it was a lot of my friends really ended up playing, and I just jumped in as well.
Yeah, I've heard, we're about the same age, so I've heard a lot about the 2000s era of British basketball, where it's like streetball.co.uk, the BBL had a ton of money. What was it like then? What were the tournaments like? Was there a lot of hype around it?
We had Midnight Madness.
And Midnight Madness. I've heard that gets crazy.
I remember seeing Chris Brown performing at halftime, doing flip in the middle of Crystal Palace at South London. It's like, this is great. Football wasn't as sexy. It wasn't as cool. It was, a couple lads on a Friday playing football on the fields coming back muddy. I wanted to be different. I wanted to be cool, and man, basketball was my outlet there.
That's amazing. And when did you decide that you wanted to go to the States to play hoops?
I think 16. It was like I fell in love with the game quickly. You're watching YouTube, and YouTube is just coming up and coming. I'm watching T-Mac highlights, all these guys. I had a weird, dodgy accent. I might have said some funny American words in the middle of all my English. And then I ended up going to a camp, a 5-star camp in Pittsburgh at Robert Morris.
Okay, yeah.
I remember my mum was paying the flight, and I got together all the money I could, and I paid for the camp, and that was our little deal. And I went there, and then I ended up getting a scholarship basically like that, and then the rest was history. Yeah.
Wow.
What was it like?
I went to a lot of camps and never got offered scholarships, so that's pretty.
That's a flex.
Yeah.
What was it like transitioning from kind of the British scene to high school in the US? Because I feel like we hear like I'll hear people talk about like, oh, we think about like American high school, what it's like on TV and like movies. Was it everything you
Yeah,
expected?
I was thinking you lot were drinking some funny water. You lot was all jumping out the gym, everyone was shooting threes. I was like a bigger fish in a small pond, and you go over there, you just anyone else. And I thought I was tall, and so I went out there, and everyone was my height. So I was like, all right, I've got to really put the graft in here and work. But it was an eye opener. I was in a league. I don't know if you know Deuce Bello and Ike Nwami. I was in a prep school league with some of the most athletic players in the country at the time, and I remember just thinking, I don't want to be put on a poster. I can't be on a hoop mixtape. I can't be on the thing. And you actually can see me running back, like trailing the plays on some of their dunks. Like, I'm not getting involved.
Trying to decide if you want to be in the footage or not. Yeah.
Like, it wasn't worth it, you know. But yeah, that kind of molded me. And then, yeah, high school was really, really fun for me. It was challenging as well, homesick. And I had a pretty bad injury when I first went out there. But all in all, it was a great experience, and I'm still great friends. I talk to most of the time over there. So great times over there.
I'm loving hearing your decision making with basketball. Like, didn't want muddy boots, so you switched to basketball. Didn't want to be on a poster. Like, I like how it's just like these tiny little things making your decisions. And then what was your experience like playing college basketball in the US? Because I mean, you got a couple different experiences. You played JUCO with Central Florida, and then you went to Charleston Southern, right, which was D1.
Yeah,
Did it kind of surprise you there?
I started actually in D1. So I went to America, and I tore my Achilles like 5 games into my junior year out there, and then I was thinking, forget Boston, let me come home, let me just do the go home and do what normal London kids do, get your go uni and do that. But then my prep school actually ended up giving me another year scholarship to finish because it was a 1-year scholarship. And then I went back there and worked really hard, went up being first team all state, and then went to USC Upstate. It's like a small D1 in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Yeah.
And my teammate I came in with the same class as Torrey Craig, who actually just lost in the NBA Finals to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And I ended up redshirting for him, essentially. So
yeah,
it was cool that I got to experience that and not lose a year of eligibility, because the team was really bad upstate that year. We think we won 6 games. And it just wasn't really the right fit for me. And then I had a chat with the coach and got my release. And I remember trying out for a lot of junior college teams and ended up settling on Central Florida. And it was probably one of the best decisions I ever made going there.
What was the reason there?
We hear that a lot from JUCO guys. Like Jimmy Butler talks about that a lot, how JUCO is like one of the most influential parts of his playing career.
And a lot of people are hesitant to go into JUCO.
Yeah.
My mom didn't like the word junior college in front. She didn't like junior in front of college. She thought, I've got African mom, so it's all about education. Mm-hmm. And I'm at a 4-year university doing well. And then I tell her I want to go take a step down, and it was pretty hard convincing her. But in the end of the day, she trusted me. She let me go at 17, so she knew it was my dream to do ball. And yeah, JUCO it gives you a toughness. It gives you can go to a lot of bad situations, and a lot of guys are knuckleheads, and they're doing stuff you shouldn't be doing. But that's like everywhere else. And
yeah,
the JUCO experience, man, it gave me a bit of toughness. It gave me a swagger as well. Like, you can't guard me. I learned how to talk ish. I'm not going to swear on your camera.
You can swear. It's all right.
I came back. I hit a shot. I was like, in your face, bitch, or something. And I remember, I'm in England now. I can't actually talk to guys like that. They're going to fight me. So, yeah, but it gave me a swagger and a toughness that, I think I still got on my shoulders today.
What was your favorite place to live in the US? Because I feel like the transition from the UK to Central Florida is like among the most extreme.
Big.
Yeah, I lived in Greensboro. I lived in Greensboro first, and I really like Green. You get all 4 seasons, but extreme. All of them really extreme. So I'm coming in hot as hell, cold as you getting snow, you getting hot, you getting everything. And I lived in a place where there was a lot of land, 4-wheelers and all that stuff. So I really love Greensboro, and the family I live with, they're still like family to me today. So I think Greensboro is my favorite, and then Charleston probably my second favorite because of the beach.
Yeah, Charleston is good food too.
Hell yeah, all that barbecue.
Oh yeah. So we've talked a little bit about the US, but you've played all around the world, the UK, Italy, Spain, Iceland. Iceland kind of threw me when I was doing my research. Where's been your favorite place to live? And do you find that there's a big culture adjustment with every new team that you go to, or is it kind of just basketball everywhere?
That's a good question. The best place, I think Italy, because I was near Milan. It was my first year out of uni. It was just, wow, this is, Milan, you're going out and you're having a good time, and the food, like a tomato, tastes different over here than it does in Italy. I'll tell you that. Simple stuff like that, and I think Italy, yeah, just for the culture, the lifestyle. There's a lot of stuff that I probably didn't like there, but yeah, I think Italy is probably my favorite place. Romania is actually one of my favorites as well. Ooh, crazy enough, I really had a good time in Romania. So,
Did the playing style change a lot between the different countries?
Definitely. But it's more coaches, because you can get an Italian coach in Spain or something like that. So
yeah,
I remember my first coach. Actually, wait, in Hungary as well. I played in a few places, but for a short stint on like a month contract, because someone was injured or something, and it was good money at the time. I said, let me just do this. But I played for a coach in Italy, and it was so technical. It's so everything. Like I remember I was off like a yard or a meter from where I should be, and he blew the whistle. He said, "No, you got to stand here." And I've never had that attention to detail up to that point. So it was a real eye opener, but it really helped me out. It really, taught me the game. I thought I learned the game in America, but I didn't. I learned it in Europe. I learned like how to angle the screen, how to come up with it's just small details that really help in a big game. So I think Italy really helped open my eyes to what basketball really was. And it's not just about jumping higher than someone or being quicker. It's you can have all these disadvantages but still be a better player. So yeah, Italy is probably my favorite place technically and as far as culturally as well to live.
Yeah, you see that in junior development even. I grew up playing AAU. There is nothing technical about training for AAU, and it's very coach specific, but it's also just how can I dunk on people.
Yeah.
And then you get here and there's so many different cultures that play basketball here, which I've noticed too. Like you'll have the Serbian teams go through ball out, or you'll have, the Spanish team that goes through, and it's so technically sound. It's unbelievable. And you see that like the last, 3 MVPs have been European.
Yeah. Was it Giannis?
Giannis? Was Giannis back to back?
Oh yeah, I think he was.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're really seeing that.
I was looking at the top 5 rebounders in the league, and they were all European this year.
Box out.
Yeah,
fundamentals.
Yeah, man. And they're 7 foot, which doesn't hurt.
Yeah, that always helps. So let's switch over a little bit more to your GB basketball experience. You have 23 caps, is that right? Have you had more?
I don't know. I think maybe something like that, yeah.
Over 20 caps. What have you enjoyed most about the GB basketball experiences?
The guys, man. All the guys there.
Yeah.
I've got good friends from I grew up around the corner with, they play on the national team, Bosche. We've got some guys like Teddy's, he's another East London guy.
Yeah.
So it's just good to be around the guys, especially when you've been away from your family so long. Well, when I was playing for GB, it was nice to come back and have a bit of homecoming, even if you weren't at home necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think the guys, man, and it's good to actually speak your own language sometimes, and just have that little jokes, with guys, and instead of being the odd one out.
One of my culture shocks coming here that I just realized with Joey and Toast and those guys at Ball Out was I thought you were nice when people miss shots by saying unlucky. I thought that was like a nice thing. I was like, oh, I love that. Like, oh, it is unlucky. I should make that. And it's just unlucky.
It's nothing about you shooting. It's just luck.
It's just like, oh, that's unlucky. I thought it was just kind of everyone being kind of nice, like kind. It is. And they're like, no, it is very, it's very passive aggressive, or it's like, it's trolling you.
Yeah. Bit sarcasm here. We're known for our sarcasm over it. So if someone says something, you got to dissect it first and then realize what they're saying.
Yeah, but I have to move on to the next play. So I just took it as kindness. And then, all right. So if someone compliments me, because I got that at Ball Out too, they're taking the piss, right? They are not actually complimenting me.
If they was like, oh, nice move, and you come off your foot, then yeah, they're taking the mick. But some guys, you got to give props. If a guy's cooking you, he's cooking you, and you got to show love if that's what it is. But yeah, we got a lot of sarcasm around there, and a lot of passive aggressive, like you said. We take our ball serious, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure it out, or I'll just take it. You can't. It's like no one can get in my head because I think everyone's just complimenting me all the time, and I don't actually view. I'm just gonna stay above the waters there. Who's funniest guy on Team GB?
Ooh, Gabriel Olasheni, hands down. Hands down. It's
All
just,
right.
I was his roommate for a while, so I just see it every day, man. It's just the little stuff, like the fact he doesn't wear socks. He just does it on purpose just to get on my nerves because he's got a really big toe. And
Like
then
in what
he likes
settings does
wiggling
he
it.
not wear socks? With
Pardon?
what shoes is he not wearing socks?
No, flip flops. It'll be some flip flops aside.
Oh, okay.
And he knows I don't like feet, so he'll do some weird stuff like that. Or he's just a top guy. He's a really funny guy. And who else is funny there? Gareth Murray is really funny.
Oh, nice.
I like his energy. He's a top guy. Kieran, when he was there, Kieran Achara, he's recently retired. I still call him captain. He was a really good guy, really funny guy. And yeah, a few guys on there. I think everyone's got their humor in them.
Yeah. Any favorite GB experiences that pop out in your head? Moments?
I think my first cap, man. First cap,
you know. First time playing.
My first time my mum ever saw me play as well. So it was like a big deal. And in New Zealand, we saw the haka. I never saw that before. And yeah, I think I scored maybe 2 points. I hit a 3 and I remember it didn't count because Dan set an illegal screen. But all the man didn't see me there, like family, my brother hadn't seen me play, I think in maybe 5 years. My mum, like I said, my mum's first time seeing me. And she thought it was a little local league game, but she didn't really know basketball. She doesn't really know about basketball still. But then she came and it was just so great seeing her there in the crowd, man. And I think I'll never forget that moment. Singing the anthem as well in front of her was a proud moment as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's been great seeing that when they beat France this year to kind of advance to the next round.
Yes.
That was one of the most fun experiences I've actually had watching. Let's go over the pandemic a little bit. So you were playing for the Eagles, season cut short, everything goes into pandemic. What'd you do during the pandemic with your basketball training? How'd you kind of keep everything together?
Well, I needed surgery coming into my Eagles stint, and I had surgery in the pandemic, which really helped my ankle out. And yeah, it was.
Did you get something scoped out, or?
No, I had a debridement, so they got in there, took some bone away from my ankle because I had like I said, I tore my Achilles when I was young when I was 17, and I think I don't know, that side of my body was a bit off, and then the bone was growing a certain way. They had to cut it. So a lot of my pandemic was rehabbing, getting ready, and it gives you time to reflect and sit back and you know calculate and readjust and make decisions that's smart for the future. So I did a lot of that stuff. And yeah, man, rehabbing, I still do it all the time,
that's good timing though.
Yeah, definitely.
We talked to Melita Emmanuel Carr, very similar, getting through the surgeries, taking the time for rehab. So
we were rehab buddies together. We was training in the same gym.
Nice. So it's good to see her go back. I think she just signed too, with the Gloucester City Queens, right? The new club, which was really fun to see. Skylar, you want to do the next one?
Yeah. So what excited you about the opportunity to play in the BBL? Is it something you kind of thought about growing up playing basketball, or did you kind of come to it later that you wanted to play in the BBL?
Well, I was in Iceland, like you said earlier, and I had to end up tearing a part of my shoulder. So I needed time away. And being out for the second half of that year, I knew it would be tough to come back. So I just kind of thought, let me go and play in the BBL and give it a go and just prove that I'm healthy. And then the team I ended up playing for ended up folding, funny enough.
The Royals?
Yeah.
And then that was tough.
Yeah, man. Let's not even get into that one there. That's mad political. Yeah. And then I had the ankle surgery. So I think the BBL's kind of more been it's kind of been just what I needed, where I needed to be. There's still a long career for me, so we'll see whatever happens. But I think the BBL, it was a good opportunity. The league was strong. It was growing. It's still growing. There's a lot of exciting things going on in the BBL. So it was a good time to come back and, be around my friends and family again. Because, even when you're in America, you're not really around your friends. And when you're in Europe, it's the same thing. So
yeah,
it was nice to come and, have a bit of fish and chips and chicken and chips and all that stuff. So
yeah. Well,
that's almost like the exact same answer as Melita again.
I know. Yeah. Well, you've been doing it for over a decade now? 12 years, 13 years since you left the States?
That'd be hard to be away that long.
Yeah. But you got to have like a bit of resilience, and you don't know your character until you get put in those situations, and it kind of reveals it. And I think I'm a tough guy, that in that sense where, I can be away from my family for a while and still be focused and, not be too homesick, which I've seen a lot of guys get homesick and just leave, go home. So, I think it was good for me, and I was really driven at that young age to just get out and do something else, because I saw a lot of the stuff I didn't want to be doing in London, and basketball really gave me it really helped me, to move my life forward in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
So as BBL fans, we're super excited to see you join the Giants. We've interviewed, a number of people from the Giants organization, love the new branding, the esports team, everything they're kind of doing to transform the team. What had excited you to join Manchester?
Well, I know the head coach really well. I was up there for the end of the last season, just working on my ankle. Lloyd's, he was an assistant at GB and a rival almost when I was in high school as a manager. So it was good to, reconnect with him. And he was a Royals coach as well. Mm-hmm. So, and the owner seemed great when I met him last season. Really, really good guy. And my mum's relocated up there as well, up near Manchester. So it gives me a chance to be around my family still. And I've got some interest up there. So it just makes sense for me. And I think one of the big reasons is Lloyd, because I think he's one of the most underrated coaches in the country, to be fair. He puts the work in, and he knows how to communicate with players. And a lot of the times he plays for some wankers, isn't it? You play for some guys you don't really like. And it's good to play for someone you've got respect for. Yeah. And you really want to work well with. And I think that brings everything together and just makes it more organic, and it's really good.
So I still haven't been up to Manchester. Give us a quick pitch. As Americans, what's Manchester known for? I've heard it's up and coming.
Yeah. Well, nightlife, culture. There's a lot of art on the walls. You walk around Manchester, you see all these murals everywhere. A lot of vibrancy. I think there's a collectiveness there as well. A lot of Manchesters, they're proud to be Mancunians. They've got the bumblebee tat, or they've got it on their car, or something like that. And sometimes tragedy as well brings people together, and they've had a bit of that. Yeah. And their sport's crazy. Manchester City, Manchester United. It's only right that a big basketball club comes in there and competes with the rest of them for some fans. So Manchester's vibrant, a lot of energy, and if you want to have a good night out, there's probably no better place.
All I know about Manchester is it's where Molly May and Tommy Fury live.
I don't really know too much about them, but
Love Island. We're going into Love Island now. Have you played with Ovi?
Yeah, Ovi's a good guy. Yeah, I played with him a while, and we kind of grew up together almost. We trained a lot in because he's from Tottenham, I'm from Leytonstone, so we were right neighbours. So yeah, I knew him kind of before this whole Love Island stuff. He's a good guy, solid guy, works hard, gets and he's doing well in his career as well, regardless of Love Island. So
well, I got introduced to Ovi through Love Island, and I'm like, oh, they brought in a smaller player from British basketball. I didn't know he was one of the best in the country at that time.
I think he's one of the best players by far, in England.
Yeah, that's great to see. And then, do you play 2K? Are you a big NBA 2K guy at all?
I'm FIFA. Give me some FIFA.
You're FIFA. All right. I think they can fit that because we talked to the Manchester Giants esports, and they were like, we need to get some players playing against the pros, like getting them both together.
I went JUCO, mate. You remember? I did 2 years of that 2K life. These guys were betting on shots in 2K. So I could play. I'm nice as well when it comes to 2K, but FIFA's my
FIFA.
Game,
All right. Well, I bring that up because we've been talking a lot to a lot of different BBL teams about ways to grow the game outside maybe like the traditional BBL fan base, because it surprised us when we got here that you could be an NBA fan here and not even know that the BBL exists. Like there's not a lot of crossover. So there's so much interest in basketball, but not necessarily the BBL. So like the 2K playing, the esports, like the Lions have done these celebrity games where they bring in like AJ Tracy to launch an album. So what are the same things you've seen where the BBL can really help grow the game of basketball in the UK or attract more of an audience?
Yeah, I think being more in touch with some of the grassroots organizations like Deo. He has Who's Got Game, and it's really a big event in Copperbox, and they could somehow put their fingers on that and make it a collective, because we're all trying to bring the game to a place it's never been in this country. And I think more cooperation, more collaboration, unity, all those good words all together and coming in the right direction, and visibility as well. It's hard to find basketball. Like you got to go on some website, let's get it on the TV. I'm happy it's on Sky Sports again, and I think that's really going to help. Visibility, a bit more cooperation, and maybe a clear vision of what we want the game to be. We've got 2 leagues. We're one of the only countries that's got the BBL in a separate league as the second league. It should all be run in an ideal world, and that would promote like a relegation promotion system. I know economically maybe not doesn't work in this country, but we should be aspiring for that, that's a lot of stuff. You asked me what question, but
no, the NBL BBL thing is really interesting. And we're speaking to Basketball England president on the pod next week. And it's a really interesting thing where there's like 2 tiers. There's one with relegation. There's one like entire system run, how do you get that cooperation together? But that's also, decades old politics and organizations that it's really hard to bring together. But
I think we can really move forward if we unify our basketball federations and all that, and just be one body. Like we're Great Britain now, but then before it was England, Northern Ireland, Wales. I think together we're stronger.
Mm-hmm. But you're right, like getting on Sky Sports, the investment from 777 Partners and the Lions, like there's a lot of momentum. Losing the Wolves was tough. The Raiders luckily came back, but otherwise, there's going to be 9 teams with only one not making the playoffs. That would have been brutal. So,
but one not making the playoffs, it means everyone's got a chance. That's good.
Yeah, that is true. You always get into it a little bit more. Yeah. What do you like to do outside of basketball? We talked to a lot of players about like what are their pillars outside building their brands or just like outside interests other than FIFA. What do you like to get into?
Well, I draw a bit. I'm a bit of a creative guy like that. I like taking photos. I'm a bit of a amateur photographer.
Nice.
Like I said, I like to paint. I like to draw. I like playing football. A lot of the times in the off season, you catch me playing football to stay in shape. Because
it's great cross training.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a Renaissance guy. I like a bit of everything. I like to read. I like to watch the movies, go out there and have a bit of fun, and go out with the lads and golf. I like golf. I was on a driving range the other day. Yeah,
the classic basketball transition to golfer. It's in the States. Everyone, like I hit 30 last year, so every one of my friends, one by one, picking off, becoming golfers, not coming to the runs as much. Like, I see it here too. It's brutal.
Yeah, a couple of years I'll be there. I'll have my own clubs and everything. So
Skylar, I just asked, what does he like to do outside of basketball? What do you want to do after basketball?
Well, like I've got another hobby. I like renovating houses. I'm doing a lot of my mates. I did my mate's kitchen recently, and
oh, nice.
That's a big passion for me to get into the housing game a bit more. And I think that it'll be something similar, something aligned with that, And I've got a lot of family friends, and that are into that kind of business, and it just makes sense to me,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really
places, renovating,
buying, selling, all that kind of good stuff. I'm really a guy who like working my hands as well. My dad was a builder, so I've got it in me, to see something start it up and put a new wall in, or do a kitchen or a bathroom or that kind of stuff. And if you know what to do with that, then you know how to do a house, basically. So yeah. So I think,
are you a fan of grand designs at all?
A bit more homes under the hammer, but grand design's a bit too, maybe a bit more middle class than I am. But yeah. Homes under the hammer is my show.
That was the other like Netflix show that came over to the States, where like getting the British culture and like you're £1 million over budget every single time. Like, wow.
Exactly.
You're building on the Thames and it floods every, like, what is happening here with the UK market?
Different lives, yeah. They live different lives. Like they go back to the bank. Oh, can I have another $500,000, please?
Yeah. Sorry, I went over budget a bit.
Yeah, it's funny. But I love I still watch those shows, but maybe not as much.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice to give to young British players coming up right now?
It would have fun with the game. The coach, I think the standard of coaching has really improved the last couple of years. There's a lot of good academies now, and they're kind of trying to fight for players. And I think be smart with your decisions. Mm-hmm. Find a place where you can, maybe it doesn't have to be the biggest. It's like when you talk to an American kid, you don't have to go to the biggest university. You just got to go to a place where you're wanted. Where you will progress and where you can see, a pathway to something else, and that's another thing I think with the game in the country. If we can link more the youth clubs to the professional teams, then they can end up seeing, themselves represented by the men, or, seeing maybe in a couple of years I can be like one of those guys, that would be really big for the game. And then we won't lose as much as our players to the Americas or to the Europes, or to Europe.
That's great advice.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate it. Great to get to know you a little bit more. Maybe I'll see you out on the Chuck Duru bubble court at some point. Yeah, I'm glad to hear you're on the same list. We'll get out there eventually.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be at the 3-on-3 final. I'm definitely going to come support my brother.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of big things, so it'll be good to see him there.
How old is he?
31.
Oh, okay. So he's older. Yeah. That's good. We'll have similar knees then. We were playing. playing as these 21-year-olds. I'm just like, God, you're so fast.
Yeah.
Like,
why are you fouling so hard, man? Stop moving so quick.
Yeah, stop jumping so high. Like, let me get out of this. Like you said, let me get out of this frame before everything Chris comes in there or something. But
yeah,
thanks for coming on, man. Good luck with the season, and we'll see you in London soon.
Yeah, man. Thanks again, man.